Hello again, this is Eddie Lemaire. Who else would it be? And this is the second video short in a group of video short that we're going to be using this year to illuminate the college application process. In our previous video, we went over the various docs that we use to start off the college application process. The pre-writing doc, which we primarily use for the common application, the activities document, which we use primarily for the UC essays, and the college list, which we use to get out in front of additional essays right around the middle of June. Now, there's one thing that students still need to do that's a requirement more or less for May, and that is asking for letters of recommendation. Most colleges on the common application will permit at least one letter of recommendation. Many colleges will permit two. UC and Cal State are not on the common application, but for the most part, everybody else will require or permit a letter of recommendation. So it is up to the student to request two letters of recommendation from their teachers. Students should do this by the end of May. That seems like it would be quite early, but there are high schools where the more popular teachers fill up well before the summer. So it's better to ask now and have a teacher maybe a little bit confused about why you're asking so early, rather than to ask in September and the teacher's been already filled up for several months. Before you start asking for letters, just one little thing: be aware of what your counseling office permits and what their preferences are. There are some counseling offices that like to have control over who the students are asking and how they ask. So just be aware of the preferences of your counseling office and how things work there. But outside of that, how should we begin this? Who in a perfect world would be the teachers that you would request for letters of recommendation? Two teachers. We would want both of them to be from core 5 academic subject areas: English, language other than English, lab science, social science, math. Again, in a perfect world, we'd want one to be from the left brain and one to be from the right brain, one to be STEM and another one to be humanities and social sciences. We'd like to have teachers that you've had for at least a year. An advanced level class is preferable to a regular class. Again, this is in a perfect world, and there are some schools that'll actually dictate which teachers you can ask. In the cases of Caltech, Harvey Mudd, and MIT, they want teachers that are going to be left brain and then another right brain one. It's required to submit the application. So there are some narrow things to consider, some details to consider when requesting the LORs. In all other cases outside of schools that will require dictated specific teachers, you really just want to have the two core academic teachers that can give you the most glowing praise possible. For context, this is the prompt that your teachers are going to be asked on the common application letter of recommendation. Please attach a short evaluation of 1,000 words or less that'll help colleges differentiate this student from others. We especially welcome broad-based assessment and encourage you to consider describing or addressing what you think is important about this student, including a description of academic, personal characteristics as demonstrated in your classroom. And for context as well, there is a grid that teachers are presented with where they will score you, ranging from academic achievement to integrity to leadership. That might give you a direction on which teachers to ask if you're having trouble deciding from among several. Now, for the record, when you ask the teachers, you want to ask them face to face. You want to ask them in a way more or less like, will you have time to write me a good letter of recommendation for college? And hopefully they'll say yes. And if and when they say yes, you will then follow up with, what do you need from me? And that's when things get interesting. They might need a senior questionnaire, brag sheet, a paragraph about what you learned in their class, the letter fully written, absolutely nothing at all. Regardless of what they say, follow up with an email, thank them, confirm everything you said, just so you have a paper trail, and then readdress things in the fall. There are other things to consider with letters of recommendation. There's counselor letters of recommendation that if a school requires it, you usually don't have to go out of your way to request it from a counselor. They'll just kind of do it automatically. There are character recommendations and references. Those will move the needle, I guess, at some places. And there are recommendations for art teachers. In particular, teachers where students might have submitted a portfolio. But the two academic ones, the STEM and the humanities one, those are the ones that are time sensitive, and we would like to have these folks requested by hopefully the end of May. So the earlier that you can do that, the better. Our next video short will address how we address developing the college list, cutting it down, finding fit and balance. But in the meantime, let us know questions, and have a great day.